Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you are in the world today, I hope that you're doing great. Hope that all is pleasant with you. And most importantly, my friends, hope that you are in good health. Once again, welcome to the Common Sense channel. On this channel, my friends, we get to talk about those things that people know, that people have thought about, but don't often have the time to discuss. These, my friends, are the things we discuss here on the Common Sense channel. So once again, welcome to the Common Sense channel. First and foremost, I want to welcome all the newest Common Sense subscribers. I want to welcome you to our platform. On the Common Sense channel, my friends, we get to talk about those things that people know, that people have thought about, but don't often have the time, my friends, to discuss. These, my friends, my new friends, are the things we discuss here on the Common Sense channel. Why do I say this? I say this because there'll come a day or time that I say something that you don't agree with, you don't like, but this is what we do here. So once again, welcome to the Common Sense channel. Today, I want to talk to you about, I'm going to give you things that could possibly happen, should our country, the United States, go to war with the Persian, Persia, AKA Iran. You know, what one thing I'm gonna say is every administration that comes to office comes in with their own policies. One thing that I have discovered, and I think many people know this now, that our world, this world that we are living in, especially Northern America, especially this part of the universe, is a big show. Or maybe you can say the whole universe is a big show. What do I mean? That means everything that are happening in our world today, it's a show. And in a movie or in a show, they're actors. And these actors, they're performing every day. You just need to watch. And if you can remember the previous show or the previous movie, if you can remember now, because not everyone that goes to the movie theater, that sits in there, buy the ticket, buy the popcorn, buy a drink, and sits in front of that big screen, remembers or even paying attention to what is happening in that movie theater or even what's happening on the screen. That's how life is. And why am I saying this? I'm telling you that we are actually in the movie theater of global affairs. You understand? And every day of our lives, when we wake up to reality now, because life is reality, whether you know it or not, it's reality. What are these realities? All of the things that are happening around you, they're not fake. They're real. I mean, those things that are very important to you are real things. That's your reality. And the thing is, each of us have our own reality. So when we are sitting in that theater of actors, we are the spectators. So we are seeing, they're performing, they're putting up a great show, you know? and we are just watching, and some of us are enjoying the movie, and some of us are not paying attention to it, but we are there. We are in the moment, and that's everything that I'm discussing right here. That's what you see when you go to watch a movie and you're seated there. And you see someone laughing here. You see this side of the movie theater, people are just somber and they're just listening. And then you hear someone once in a while says, "Hey, can you stop? Can you stop making noise? I want to listen." And then some people are like, "Hey man, I bought my ticket anyway, so I can do whatever I want to do." And then someone said, "Hey man, you need to stop that." So that all of these voices happening in the reality of life. And that's what this whole movie, this not movie anyway, but I can say that this video is about. So we're gonna talk about, should America go to war with Iran? Hmm? And some of the things that will happen. You understand? And on the Common Sense channel, I like to do things different because at the end of the day, whatever administration is in office, you want them to succeed. You may not like their policies. You may not like what they're doing. You may not even like the person that's running this country. For this case, is Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump is the president of this great nation. But I think he's in the movie theater. If he's not the main character, he's one of the leading character in this big show. And in this big show, it's about our reality, the reality of the American people. Because Sir Isaac Newton, they like to say Sir Isaac Newton, says, for every action, there is opposite, equal reaction. You understand? So when you go like this, then someone gonna go like that. So it's just, that's how life is. You have to do something for something to happen. So what am I trying to say is, when you live a peaceful life with your neighbors, you don't bother them, you don't go their way. All you often say is hi, good morning, and move on into your reality of life. There will never be conflict. It doesn't mean that your neighbor is not planning or thinking of having issue with you, but you're not giving them the chance to even start. So that's what I'm trying to say. Our world is a big movie. We're in a big movie theater. It could be the AMC, whatever theater you want to call it, that we're in. But whatever will come of that reality in that movie theater, it's going to be our doing. There's a great philosopher that says, his name is Tupac Shakur. He says they have more money for war, but they can't feed the poor. And it's so true. His philosophy is so relevant every day, because I remember growing up during his time, and he was spitting out these great philosophies that we can see today. And he was young, a young man. But when I look back into Tupac's life, I can say he was a philosopher. He was a prophet. He was a thinker, because he was warning the people. And you will find a lot of Tupacs in our world today that are warning our world, like these things will happen. It don't mean that the people that are in the movie, the lead actors, the main actors, whatever their roles are in that movie, it don't mean they don't know what they're doing. Because no one puts a movie together without knowing why they are putting that movie together. So, in short, I'm trying to say, the movie that Trump is putting up, we've seen that movie, and that movie has happened. You understand? There's something called, most of you know this, the 12-Day War. The 12-Day War was a war between They want to say Israel, but I'll say America and Iran. We know what happened. And during that time, our president, Mr. Trump, came out and he says, we have these were his words. We have obliterated. It's a big term. When you obliterate something, you destroy that thing. What that means is that thing doesn't exist. You understand? You destroy it into the Stone Age. You understand? It's done. It's finito. C'est fini. But because these people are the ones that are running the movie theater, or they are the ones that wrote the script, they can keep adding new script as the movie. I've never seen a movie like that, because normally when a movie director directs a movie, they have to have an end to the plot. You know, there has to be an end. But it seems to me that this movie is not going to end soon, because it's almost like a saga. You understand? So Trump came to this country, this world, to the whole world, not just the American people, that he has finally sealed the deal with Iran, that there's no issue of nuclear weapon, you know. I wish I was alive when North Korea was going through their own saga with the world, and today now they have nuclear weapon. You know, to see Trump cross over the DMC or something. Yeah, DMC or DMZ is what they call it, DMZ, between North Korea and South Korea, and shake the hands of the North Korean president. That was historical. You know, for some reason, I don't know why he's not able to do that with the Iranian people. Because whenever a country goes to war with another country, they are not just going to war with the government of that country. They're going to war with the people of that country. Say, for instance, if another country were to go to war with the United States of America, they wouldn't be going to war with Trump or his administration. That's the reality. They are going to be going to war with the American people. And I tell you, it's not going to be a fun movie. You understand? So it's the same thing. So, Mr. Trump, I've always come on my channel. I don't like to listen to some people doomsday and all that stuff, but I know for sure that you are not stupid. I don't know where your script is going, or maybe you keep adding more script to the movie, because you're running the movie. And like other people, I think you're very inclined, you're smart, you pay attention to global affairs. I don't think you're stupid. I don't think anyone is stupid. No one is stupid. But people know what they're doing. And some of these things are beyond your understanding. But one thing I know is you control the script. You control the narrative. We're in a movie theater. We're watching. Whatever your action may be, today, tomorrow, the day after, just know that the people that are in that movie theater, or in this movie theater, in the case of the United States, whatever action you may do in that movie may have some impact on our lives and the lives of our children and the ones that are yet to come. Understand? Me personally, as I've always said on my channel, I don't like war. I don't encourage war. I don't think it's a good idea. If you can do whatever you can, do it to dissuade anyone, anything, any entity, any country from going to war. I think the American people by nature are peace-loving people. But if you have a government that's not peace-loving, then they drag you into their base. They drag you into whatever movie script they've written, they have planned, and they are about to execute. I know for a fact that if Mr. Trump wants to go to war with Iran, this stuff could have been done a long time ago. Could have been done yesterday. Could have been done today and or tomorrow. But we're talking about a civilization that has been around for a long time. You know, sometimes I listen to some of the analysts out there, political analysts, geopolitical analysts, people who study these things, you know, the emergence of war, especially war. And they'll tell you that Iran, it used to be called Persia. You know, these are not yesterday's civilization. They've been around for a long time. You understand? They are ancient. Their history did way back. Maybe way back before the great United States. And one thing that unifies them is their culture. I've said on my channel, religion is not the reason why people go to war. Yes, religion has nothing to do with people's behavior. It has nothing to do with the ethics. It has nothing to do with the way they interact with others. It has nothing to do with what they do or why they do it. You understand? It doesn't change your behavior either. It doesn't make you a better human being. I'm talking about religion. It doesn't inform your decision making. It doesn't inform your ethics. Religion again. But what is more important to the human species that inform your morality, that informs your ethics, that controls your behavior, that makes you who you are? It's your culture. Your culture is more powerful than religion. That's the one someone would die for. You understand? It's not religion. Although it tells you the contrary because they want you to believe that religion, I used to believe that, I'm not going to lie. But I sat down one day and I thought about it. And it started to make sense. And I even did a video on this, that your culture is more important than religion, because out of culture comes religion. You understand? So, Iranians, or the Iranian people, some may think that, especially those analysts I talk about, that they are divided, they are fragmented. No, they're not. And if you're going to go to war with a country that's united, you're not going to win. And if Trump, I know, again, I'm going to say, Trump is not a stupid man. He remembered the first time that when he, according to him, we have obliterated, that was the word he used, all of the nucleoside, will send them back to the Stone Age. Understand? If he didn't learn from that, going back again to start another war with Iran, right? Not talking about those people that are pushing you, Mr. Trump. You understand? Some of them, they've never been in combat. They've never been in real war situation. Some of them will never see some of the things that happen in the war situation. But these people are the worst human beings that this world has ever, the Mother Earth has ever vomited into this world. They're despicable. They don't value life. Understand? They've never seen someone in a terrible situation. So they're gonna be pushing you. But listen to common sense, Mr. Trump. Common sense is more important, is more relevant than than say analytical assessment, you understand, of a situation or a reality, you understand. It's not like someone just thinking off the sky. There's someone looking at something and saying, it's not a good thing. Don't do it. Don't fight Charlie Wilson war. Charlie Wilson is the character that would sit back in the background and watch you do his bidding for him. His name is Charlie Wilson. Don't ever fight Charlie Wilson war, Mr. Trump. Focus. This is for you. So as I said initially, these are the things that could happen should you go to war with Iran. So please don't do this. Don't. And I think I'm seeing a little sign that Europe is trying to get in on it too. I don't know. I used to have so much regards for the Europeans. But for the past few years now, I think something is going on with Europe, and it's not morality. It's like, if you see a friend, Europe, if you truly love Mr. Trump or his administration, because I want to say America, why don't you sometime, a best friend? Oh, I don't want to say best friend because there's no such thing as best friend. I think people need to stop talking my best friend. There's no such thing as friend. Friend doesn't exist. In the world of reality, friend does not exist. Stop saying my friend. In order, just say my competitor or my enemy. There are only two things in this world: your competitor or your enemy. It's not your friend. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because those people that are around you, that you think they're your friend, they're not your friend, they're your competitor. They are constantly competing with you, but you don't know it. But in your mind, you think that they're your friend, but they are competing with you. Now, they can compete with you in a positive way, or they could compete with you in a negative way. It depends how they're competing with you. But they are constantly trying to either beat you down, be ahead of you, or join you. But in your head, you're thinking they're your friend. Your enemies on the opposite side are just trying to get rid of you. They would do whatever it takes to get rid of you completely. They're not competing with you in a positive way. They're just trying to get rid of you. That's your enemy. Europe, all you can do sometimes is when you see a friend, like, if I know you deal with Trump, you deal with the American people, or America, not the American people, America. Sometimes when your friend is going off the cliff, it's fine for you to step on and say, hey, no, no, no. Don't do that. So Trump, if you go to war with Iran, in order for you to do what you say you want to do, you have to go on the ground. If you didn't learn from the 12-day war, you have to see that this time. You're talking about a vast land, a big country, huge. I'm not going to exaggerate how big Iran is, but it's a big country. I don't know if you have enough troops to go in there, but that's the only way you can change anything. But they're not just going to allow you to do that. And you're not just going to hit them and then not going to, if you go to war with them, you got to go all in. So I know if you got Lindsey Graham with you, Lindsey Graham is the instigator. He, for some reason, oh God, some human beings, anyway, history will write Lindsey Graham's story. And I know I'll be around to read some of those. And I hope he can just go away and just leave Mr. Trump alone. to do the right thing. I know Mr. Trump wants to do the right thing. He's not listening to himself. This was the candidate. I'm going to come back to my point. But this was the candidate that we all saw that was more rational, more reasonable, that made so much sense during the campaign when he was talking about ending all wars. For me, that's the most important thing, because I know if there's no war, people can build, people can innovate, people can think, people can make money. You understand? But I also learned that money is big, war is a big business too. But that kind of business, you don't want to go into that. You understand? Because when you go to war, you kill people. So I'm totally against that. But Mr. Trump, here's the deal. Like, when you go in for the second time, the first time was 12 days. Because someone saw what was happening. And they said, no, if we continue past 12 days, something terrible will happen. And we don't want that to happen. Let all people live in peace. So it was 12 days. But when you go this time, I don't know what you're waiting for. But your enemies, if you want to see them as your enemies, the Iranian people, that's up to you. But Americans don't see them that way. I personally don't see the Iranians people that way. They're not my enemies. They never will be my enemies. Maybe you may have one or two disagreement with them, but they're not my enemies. But should you go there, you're not going to be doing 12 days. And you cannot go in there and call the shots. No. You got to be all in. Now, I don't know, Mr. Trump. Maybe I may be wrong. That NATO, I'm not going to say Europe, because NATO is Europe. I don't know if NATO is going to stand with you in that fight. I don't know. Because right now, your relationship with Europe is not the best. And you know it. They may laugh with you, talk to you nice. That's all diplomatic. But our world is not diplomatic anyway. Our world is chaotic. There's no order right now. No one can look at me right now and tell me, honestly, with what I'm seeing, not what people are saying, with what I'm seeing happening in our world, there's no world order right now. United Nations is just there. And the only people that haven't realized this are the Africans. And if they don't unite, I'll probably do a video on that. So let me just leave that alone. There's no world order, Mr. Trump. So what that means is whatever you will do tomorrow, day after tomorrow, next week, the week after next, right? It's all going to be setting the stage for we can do whatever we want and no one can stop us. Understand? So there's no world order. You don't listen to no one, therefore no one will listen to you. But in this country, you see the United States? It's one thing I love about this country. That's why America never appoints a military leader. I think George Washington, and then in recent decades will be Ike, General Eisenhower. I think these were the two. Maybe I may be wrong, but I think these were the two leaders that actually came out of the military and became president. Eisenhower. But even Eisenhower was warning this country of the military industrial complex. The people in the military is very powerful. But I know again, Trump is a bright man. Some people think he's stupid, but I've always been consistent saying that he's not. He'll make the right choice, the right decision. But whatever decision you're going to make, Trump, please don't go into Iran It's a trap for you. It's a trap for you in big time. Because you see, and I think you know this, America is a constitutional republic. For that reason, that's why, back to my point I was trying to make with the military thing, the military leaders, I think two of them, I think. Oh no, what's his name? What's the guy named the battle of 1812? Oh, what's the guy named, man? Another American, Jackson, something Jackson. Oh my God, I can't remember his first name. Andrew Jackson. Yeah, Andrew Jackson was, I think, a military leader too. I think. Yeah, I may be. No, Andrew. Yeah, Andrew Jackson had a military background. After that, we haven't seen a leader with a military background. And even all those people are not dictators. They did something. Abraham Lincoln, maybe a little bit. You can talk about Abraham Lincoln. And I don't think Trump is Abraham Lincoln. Because Abraham Lincoln did some things during the Civil War. And if you look at them, historians have looked at them and say, yeah, it was necessary for this reason or for these reasons. But yeah, you're not in that situation, Mr. Trump. So you got to reason. And I think all of those voices you're listening to, they're setting a trap. So here's what I'm going to say. NATO is not going to, if NATO should get into the war with Iran, it's going to blow up out of proportion. Yeah, real fast. And I don't think Europe is going to be liking that movie. Once the screen is turned on, you understand? That's just my own common sense, own take from this whole thing. So I wish that NATO does not get involved, or Europe does not get involved into that saga. Because this whole thing right now is Trump movie we're watching. Got all these actors on the stage. One of his biggest actors is Michael Rubio. He's right there. That man, from the moment he made that man United States Secretary of State, for me, that was like, we're done. From that moment, that's why Michael Rubio will never be president in this country. Never. Michael Rubio will never be president. And even in his own party, they know that. You understand? He'll never be. Because this is a young man that's supposed to be steering this president in the right direction. Not doing that. So sometimes I may come on here and say, we need young people. But again, I'll rephrase it. We need the right young people with the right vision for our world. Because America can lead this whole thing into the abyss real quick. And me, I would be okay if we can end the movie. Just end the whole movie. So we don't see another chapter of the movie. It's everybody, the whole world is obliterated. I hate to say it, but so we get out of this drama. But I think, again, that even if someone did that, there's still going to be some survivors. Somebody is going to live. And whoever is going to live is going to repopulate this whole thing. But to see this whole thing going every day, this new chapter, is almost like a sequence. We're living in a sequence. So every now and then one sequence is another sequence is another sequence. But at some point you get tired, you be like, hey, you know what? Why don't you just finish it all? So we get out of this misery. If you're waiting for the Messiah to come so the world can go into that magical place called heaven, So whoever is waiting for their Messiah to come, their Savior, can come and save them from their misery. All the suicidal people can be happy for once. But I say, if you really want to go to that magical place, why don't you just go there alone? There's so many ways to go to heaven. We're choosing to wait. If you want to go now, you can go now. So yeah, Trump, NATO are not going to help you with your fight. But if you should attack Iran, two things gonna happen. The Iranian people, Persia is gonna merge with Babylon. And Babylon, my friend, is Iraq. You see the Iraqis and the Iranians, don't listen to those fake analysis out there. They're the same people. The only thing, they're two powerful civilization. But the culture has always engaged each other from time. You understand? If you attack Iran, Iraq and Iran are going to unite. If you never heard this anywhere, I'm saying it now. Iraq, because I've been thinking about doing this video for some time, but Sister Keep, you got to do it. Iran and Iraq will unite. You see, all those countries in the Middle East, the so-called, I like to say so-called Middle East, they are going to unite too with these two, Iraq and Iran. And then if they do, all those countries that aligns with you, excluding Israel, they are going to be puppet state. They're going to be failed state. Because not just the kingdom of Saudi Arabia is not going to be able to control the people. The people are going to unite too. You know, they want you to believe the others, but those people are going to unite. And that's not going to be good for the ones that you are supporting, you know. So I often say the best thing to do is to make peace. Just like, you remember, Mr. Trump, when you crossed over the DMZ in your first term? That was historical. A lot of people saw that and said, this is a man of peace. And a lot of people remember you doing that. And that's why they were willing to give you a chance to make this thing a better place. I hate to say this, but sometimes the world gets tired. The world gets tired of all the saga. War all over the place. Iranian situation is not there at the zenith of the evolution. You're not going to stop. This is the reality. No country in the Mid-East, or so-called Middle East, because all that stuff used to be Africa. We know that. All that place over there used to be Africa. You know, if you go by your biblical, geographical analysis, it tells you that. Understand? But due to other things like colonialism, neo-colonialism after 1948 and 67 going on, right? They tried to, I think before 1948, they drew all the lines over there. Because that whole Iraq, Iran, except Iran, Iraq was redrawn by the British. Saudi Arabia, most of this country were redrawn in that whole region. Yemeni, all those places they were redrawn by the British. We know that. Historical facts on these. So we can say, that's the reason why I say is so-called Mideast. Going to war with Iran will unite those people. That's not going to be good for your proxies. You know them. And they are waiting. They're not nice. They're not your friend. And they're your competitors. They are your enemies. In fact, from today, take away the word friend. Friend does not exist. Take away that from your vocabulary. From now on, see the world in this way. There are two types of individuals: competitors, enemies. So forget about friend. It's either your competitor or your enemies. And those people in there are not your friends. They're not your competitor, they are your enemies. Why? Because of what you've done. I say the best thing to do is to leave him alone. That peace through strength doesn't exist in our world today. This is 2026. It's a different time. Whatever is it you've known before Mr. Trump about peace through strength, that's gone. Just like how we don't have a diplomacy doesn't exist anymore. There's no such thing as diplomacy. Our world, there's no such thing as world order. We're just living now. We're just living by the moment. We're waiting to see what happens today, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, the week after, and the week after. It's then that's what we're waiting for. So whatever action you would take, just know this, that you are not just going to do 12-day war. You're not just going to hit them. When I said them, I'm talking about Iran. When you hit Iran, when you attack Iran, whether the people of Iran, the government of Iran, the whatever it is that you're going to do, you have to know that you're fighting Iran, you're fighting their proxies, that would be their friend, their competitors, and that can unite them, and it will do that. You will see. And the thing about this is, which is scary, is that they're not talking. I wouldn't want to fight an enemy in a ring, right? In a ring of conflict or of whatever battle you want to call it. If that enemy is not telling you what they're going to do, there's just so much uncertainties. And from what I've seen so far, it looks like they're not talking too much. They're just waiting. And that's a dangerous place. If you ask me now, common sense, China. It's a dangerous place to be, my friend. So I say, a war with Iran will do three things. It will unite the Persia civilization with the Babylonian civilization. These things, the civilization is still around, even though it look modern and stuff like that, but it still exists. These people used to be one until colonialism came. It will unite them. Not only will they unite those two civilizations, it will unite their proxies too. And should Europe get into this, it's not going to be a good movie for Europe. A lot of things could happen. And that's what I see. So Europe, please, I know sometimes you're diplomatic with Trump, even though you don't like what he's doing, but sometimes you try to play along. Pull him on the side. Say, please don't do that. Don't, just leave him alone. If Israel want to fight Iran, let them go fight. I think like recently I heard Netanyahu, the president of Israel. I don't think the people of Israel are into all that stuff. But Netanyahu was talking about how powerful his country is, how great this country, which I don't disagree with him. But I say, sir, if you want to fight, just go do your thing. Go fight that elephant. The elephant is right there. If you're a tiger, you're a chimpanzee, you're whatever you call yourself, gorilla, or crocodile, whatever the animal is in the kingdom, just go down there, go fight them. Please leave American people out. And Trump, please, sir, I'm appealing to you. Again, I did the same thing for Venezuela. I'm appealing to you because I don't like war. I know it's a big business too. A lot of people get richer and richer from it. But you're killing human beings. No life is worth killing or taken away because of someone's ambition or someone's goal. I think whoever these people are, they can all get along with each other. Israel can get along with Iran. Iran can get along with Israel. And if Israel don't want to be friend with Iran, that's fine too. Two enemies can live side by side. They don't have to like each other. China and India don't like each other, but they live side by side. Both of them are nuclear superpower. West Pakistan don't like India, but yet they get along. They chill, Bangladesh, all these people right there, they don't like. You don't have to like someone to get along with them. You just leave them alone. Their women are not going to get married to your sons. Your sons are not going to get married to their women, just like the people of Gaza. The people of Gaza are never going to even get married to Israeli people. Israeli people are not going to get married to people from Gaza or the Palestinians. They're not going to come beg you for food. You're not going to beg them for food, but y'all can live together. What I'm saying is, you don't have to like someone to live with them. So I think the best solution here, this is from the Common Sense channel, for Iran to have a nuclear weapon and Israel to have a nuclear weapon. So what I would do, and Trump can be the mediator, even if he's not alive, in the coming future or in the near future, if he leaves this world, right, there's still going to be that accord between the two. That's the best thing here. Iran, you can have nuclear weapons. Israel, you can have nuclear weapons. Why is that? No, there shouldn't be no, they can't do it. They can't, no. Israel, nuclear weapon. Iran, nuclear weapon. Case closed. You have a mediator. It could be, if it's not United Nations, it can be something, a board, a body right here that can make sure in the near future, we're talking about 100 years from now, that neither one of these people attack each other. I don't think it will happen. I don't think the Iranians people are sitting there saying, we're going to kill all the Israelis. I don't think so. And I don't think people in Israel, not all Israelis are thinking that way. You understand? Because they're decent humans in Israel. I mean, every society have people that are evil. Every society. If someone tell you our society is the best, no, it's a lie. But just let both of them. Because look at North Korea. North Korea has nuclear weapon. But not once in history have they tried to nuke South Korea, even though that's the enemy. South Korea and North Korea, they had a terrible war. Everybody knows about that. I mean, terrible. But yet they're enemies. They even have a zone called the DMZ that they don't cross each other. People are standing at that guarding that place forever since I was born or before I was born. But they never tried to do that. So you can live with your enemies. Maybe not in the same country, but they can be on the other side. You're here. Everybody in their own zone. You can do that. So if I were you, Trump, that's what I would be advocating for. I don't think Iran is going to attack Israel with a nuclear weapon if they had it, or bomb. And I don't know if they do, because you said you've obliterated all that stuff. So I don't even know. We shouldn't even be here, Mr. Trump, because you said you've already destroyed them, sent them into Stone Age. So why are you talking? Since our world does not have order now, you just leave people alone. We don't have no worry. You can do whatever you want to do now. That's what the thing is. So if you do what you want to do, there's all those implications. The price of oil can go up like instantly. And I know you're thinking that we live on oil now. Our world is petrol. So you gotta think about all this stuff. So the best way to do, work with the Iranians people. All that stuff trying to overthrow the government's not going to work. Simple. Because the Iranian people, the reason why their civilization has lasted this long is because they're united. It's hard to defeat a nation that's united. Yes. Yes. Same with Cuba. Remember? They say, some people are arguing, they say, if Fidel Castro passes away, the regime is dead. That's what they're saying. Fidel, gone. Cuba is still resistant. The revolution is still going on. Revolution cannot be decapitated. You understand? Revolution is in the mind, and it cannot be destroyed. You can destroy the persons, but you can't destroy the revolution. And that's why any country that wants to be great, you have to unite the people. Once the people are united within the country, no level of enemies can destroy you. That's the secret to unity. And Iran is there. If you're planning to attack them, you cannot be talking about peace and say you're going to obliterate someone. You understand? So even if you're telling you want peace, they're not going to believe you. They're going to be prepping. And politicians use this. Politicians can go back to the people and say, you see, these are your enemies. And that can unite them. So all that stuff you're doing, Mr. Trump, all it's doing is uniting the Iranian people against, not against, towards the government and towards whatever you think is not good for them in there. And it's also uniting the old Babylonian Empire, which is Iraq. Iraq is Babylon. If you're going by biblical analysis or biblical, or saying, that's Babylon and that's Persia. These two right here will unite. And if they do, it's not good. I'm not going to say if. Maybe they are. I think they are united too. But they're just not talking. And that's dangerous to me. When your enemies are not saying what they got in stock for you, it's dangerous. So I think the best, again, I've always had opinions on things. And that's why I do these videos. I do them because I care. I may not like what Mr. Trump is doing. There are a lot of things Mr. Trump is doing in this country that I don't like. But at the same time, I wish him well. I wish he can go back to what he promised this country. And I think if America does well, if he can go back to his initial promise, stay out of unnecessary war, focus on the American people, focus on this economy, focus on the lives of us, this country, making sure that everyone is okay. Because they like to look at the stock exchange as an indication of how the country is doing, but that's not always the truth. It's only benefiting the 0.09%. It's not benefiting anyone but those people on the top. That's who is benefiting. Although sometimes it trickle down in terms of jobs, crumbs, you understand? But it's not benefiting the masses. So there are tangible things that you can do in this country that will bring you back to term with MAGA. You understand? I think MAGA will embrace you if you can go back to doing the things that you said you would do. Go back to doing them. Stay away from unnecessary war. But again, you've said all these big things. But these are things like you always say, Mr. Trump, peace, truth, strength. You can walk them back easily and just say, hey, let's do like we did during your first term. You say you're going to meet the president of North Korea. His name is just hard to say, but I respect that man. We also respect you too, because you're one of the politicians that said what you would do, and you're doing it. You're not like the ones in the past. At least you're doing what you're doing. But please, stay out of that place. You know, you can easily walk back some of the things you said you would do to Iran by making sure there's a peace. Bring the Europeans on board, and Europe, please, don't get into that war. Don't get into the war with Iran. It's not good for Europe. Yeah, not good for Europe. Don't try. Don't do it. Stay out. If Trump wants to go to fight his Trump, let that be Trump's war. You know, and NATO, stay out. Yeah, I know if you stay out, that would be the end of you because you don't have mind of your own. But just stay out. Don't get into it. Europe, please, please, Europe, please. Don't get into that war. You understand? I think Trump sees that because it's going to be a protracted war. It's not going to be 12 days like before. And those people are planning for a long war too. And they're going to take it all the way. We don't know what all the way means. But that's what I see. And it's not going to be good. And you can't start it and say, oh, you know what, please, let's come back to not. Because you cannot destroy the world order that I don't think exists. But you're the ones that call in the shots. So you think that order exists for you. So you can call the shots and then pull it back. If you do it, you have to go all in. What does that mean, all in? Those people, if you're looking at previous history to judge this time, it's not Iraq entering into war with Iran. It's not that time. It's a different time now. It's a new world order coming into being, and you know it. Not going to say what it's going to be, but I know something is happening. We love America. We want to see America exist. I think America can exist, I've said this before, without any other country. Just within the country alone can exist. But you don't want to be isolated. America has a role to play. But you don't want the role of America to be minuscule, because President Trump, you're not going to be in office for a long time. It's only 4 years, sir. And after the 4 years, there's going to be a new administration. Me personally don't want to see the Democrat in there. I want to see new people in there. But it mustn't be the Democrat. Because if it's the Democrat, it's the same old thing. They're going to continue from the same policies that you left over. That's what they're going to continue from. And because of that, we're not going to be going nowhere. You understand? So what I'm saying is, please, Mr. Trump, I know you haven't done this yet. Stay out of Iran. Yes. Like you did. I keep repeating this because that was historical what you did. To cross over the DMZ into another country called North Korea to defuse that situation, because that man was sending bombs all over the place. And you're able to defuse that situation by meeting him in person. You can do the same with Iran. The Iranian people are not your enemies. And they're not friends either. But they're your competitors, right? Our competitors compete with you. May not be against you, but they're trying to get a better hand or better legs ahead of you. You can do the same with them too. Now, here's what I would say and will say again. Israel and Iran can have nuclear weapon for change. There could be an international board set up. If you want to use the United Nations, you can use it. These actors has to be non-political. They have to be neutral. You understand? Because all this thing is political. You understand? These individuals that will spearhead the organization that will oversees the nuclear program of Iran, and if Israel has one too, they can come out and say it openly so the whole world knows. They can have theirs too. And I tell you, they're not going to destroy each other. Nothing will make them destroy each other. Understand? Pakistan don't like Israel, but they never use nuclear weapon on them. I mean, I may say maybe politically or diplomatically, I don't know, but they're not a friend of them. But they're not gonna threaten them with stuff like that. I don't think Iran would do that to Israel. That's what I think. Someone may be sitting somewhere and say, well, that's what you think. But hey, you're entitled to your opinion, my friend. And I am too. But we're sick and tired of you playing games on us. We're sick and tired of watching this same movie going on and on and on and on. Can you, my friend, let me ask you, honestly speaking, can you honestly tell me you sit in a movie theater for 10 hours watching this same movie continue? Same movie, continue for 10 hours and don't get tired? This is what's happening to our world. So, Mr. Trump, in short, if you're going to attack Iran, if you're really going to do it, just go ahead and do the damn thing. Go ahead and do it. And let me tell you, it's a Pandora box. Forrest Gump says, life, it's like his mama said, life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get. And that whatever you're going to get out of that box of chocolate, that's what we don't want to see. And I don't think the end of this movie is going to be good for the American people. My whole thing here is for us. I don't care much about anyone out there that saying it's for our interest, for our survival. You know, I say Israel can own a nuclear bomb. If they don't have it now, if they do, come out. And I say, for peace sake, Iran can own a nuclear weapon. There are many countries in the world that own nuclear bomb anyway. You understand? Don't behave like the thing is relegated to one country. Many countries in the world own this stuff. You know? So let them have one. And let Israel has one. If Israel wants to have like 10,000 nuclear weapons, they can have it. If Iranian wants to have it too, let them have the damn thing. You know, and I tell you what, again, this is true. You never know how things gonna work if you didn't try. You know, all that stuff is saying North Korea can own or have a nuclear weapon. North Korea has a nuclear weapon. There's never been no one from the nuclear weapon proliferation organization ever been to North Korea, I don't think, in recent time to check anything. You don't even know how advanced their system is. But yet, they never got to one morning and say we're going to nuke the whole world. They've never threatened anyone. They can do it. They're not playing by no one rules, at least for what I know. No other country has been able to have any meaningful impact on North Korea. And yet they're thriving. They're doing what they need to do. At least Iran is trying to engage the world. You know, so even Trump, if you don't want to talk to them directly, to settle this thing once and for all so we can get out of this movie theater. Because this thing is going on for too long now. There are other movies out there we want to watch. We're sick of watching the American and the Iranians movie. We want to watch a new movie. So, Mr. Trump, if you're going to go in there, do it now. You understand? The Iranians people, they're prepared though. I don't think it's just the Ayatollah. I mean, he has some good people with him too. But go there and see what happened. But I pray and hope the only thing that stands between you and Iran is our Constitution, Mr. Trump. And I know you, my friend, is a constitutionalist. I know that because I've seen some of the things you do. Even in America, I've seen. And the Supreme Court needs to be more active. Because if I look at Congress not going to do anything. Congress, they're just, and that's what the people voted for. But yeah. But whatever the case is, I hope the Constitution stands, remains the common sense in all of this. That's all I hope. So again, I don't want my video to be too long. I just hope that the president can surround himself with wise people, people who are not warmongers, people who will give him knowledge, wisdom. I don't think he should be around religious people either, Mr. Trump. Stay away from organized religious people, because these are as warmongers as Lindsey Graham is. You understand? They'll hold their religious text in one hand and they'll hold the gun in the other. So those people, stay away from them. Organized religious people, stay away from them. Surround yourself with people with common sense, lots of common sense, and then let them talk to you. Iranians want nuclear weapon, let them have it. Because if you attack them, they're gonna have it anyway. They're gonna drive them towards having it. There's been a lot of civilization that have attacked the Iranian people. The Persian Empire never succeeded. Go to read their history first too, before you attack. The people may be doing all that stuff in Iran. You see all that people running around, burning stuff down. That's just fringe people. The real Iranians are very, very united. They're very patriotic. Nothing will unite them more if you attack their country, sir. Europe, again, please. I don't know how. I know there are many countries in Europe. I was advocate for Europeans, because most of our civilization, most of the world, everything you see in the world today, those things that we call civilized or civilization, modern civilization, sprung out of Europe. You understand? It doesn't mean that civilization wasn't around, because anyone can argue that. But it sprung out of Europe, modern civilization out of Europe. That's why sometimes I look at the Europeans, I kind of have a soft spot for them. But Europe, please don't get into that war with Trump. Stay out of it. Whether in the form of NATO or any European countries, just stay out. It's not profitable. It's not fruitful. It's not necessary. Stay out of that stuff. If Trump wants to go to war with them, let that be his issue. And I don't think the American people are even on that subject with him. But Trump is not a dictator. Some of you out there, you keep calling Trump a dictator. Trump is not a dictator. What stands between Trump and this country, right, is the Constitution, and Trump knows that. Have you ever seen Trump in a military fatigue or in a military uniform? Although maybe sometimes he wants to look like that. He's not a dictator. He understands well. And all those people working in his administrations are not either. They're not. Some of them have served in the military. That's about it. But there's something in this country. Whenever you think of his action, just align that to the Constitution. You understand? That document right there is sealed with the blood of great many men and women. Understand? So no one human being or individual surpasses the power of the Constitution. It's we the people. Remember that. We the people. It doesn't mean democracy. It just means that a bunch of people came together and say, henceforth, we will chart the chapter of this country this way, not the opposite way. Understand? So again, I want to thank all of my new subscribers this week. I appreciate you. I love you. I honor you and your family. On my channel, like I said, I just do different things. Do um I don't like to follow what other people do, because I think all humans are unique in the way you think, in the way you behave. You should always see the world different. And again, as I did video on this where I say the way we see the world is how we react to it. So that what you may think is bad, other people may see it as good. But every bad situation, there's always going to be good that comes out of it. You understand? But war, in as much as I want to say war is bad, but I've seen a situation where out of war came a new order. For example, World War II, aka European Civil War, ushering a new world order. And the new world order became America, and it still is today. So you never know what event. And the event that led to World War II was, in my view, even up to now, I don't even know. There's just so many events out there that say these are the events that led to World War II. These are the events, But based on my research right now, I learned something new. That it's hard to say these are the reason that these Europeans were fighting each other, just like the one in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia. There's just so many players, on the stage creating these scenes, you know. So you never know. So anyway, in as much as we're looking at what Trump is saying and what he's trying to do, we know that there will be good things that will come out of this situation. And my hope is whatever that will be, whether Iran can allow to, I don't want to say can, because every country is a sovereign nation. If they want to have it, let them have it. To hell with whoever thinks it's a bad thing. If Israel want to have it, to hell with whoever thinks it's a bad thing. Let them have a nuclear weapon. But in the situation of that, let there be a board. I'm not. Some people's like, oh man, you're naive. You just think it's that simple. To hell with you. I don't care what you think. I'm finding solution here, because whether you go to war with Iran, if you're not willing to put a boot on the ground, you can't change nothing. You are not gonna be. It's the truth. Come closer. You are not gonna be able to change regime remotely in Iran. Did you know that in that 12-day war and the recent riot, there are more people that lost their life in that situation? Some were innocent, some were bad actors. Some of them, they're gone. So if you have loved ones that were part of those people, I'm sorry about that. If you're one of the bad actors, you had loved ones in there, they're gone. They're not coming back in our world. So the only thing I see in this whole situation, and which is what most people are not talking about, let them have nuclear weapon. Let Israel have nuclear weapon. And then have a neutral body. If you ask me, these individuals, they don't need to come from Europe. They don't need to come from the Middle East, so-called Middle East. They don't need to come from America. They don't need to come from Australia. They don't need to come. I'm not even going to include Africa, because Africa, I'll probably do a video on you, Africa. I saw you were talking at the AU meeting. Anyway, let me just hold on to that. Sometimes when you talk about this topic, it's hard to stop. Sorry, my viewers. Here's who I think needs to be part of that board to make sure that Iran does not attack Israel, that Israel does not attack Iran with a nuclear weapon now, nuclear bomb. Should they have it, or if they already don't have it? You understand? Because we're only saying based on what we don't know. But we know what we see. These two countries could. We don't know how soon, but it could. Maybe if they attack, then they're going to be like, now we have it. You understand? Iran now. Iran can say, now we have it, so what? But yeah, you have to put a boot on the ground. Trump is not willing to do that because that's a vast country. It's not going to be 7 days. Those people are planning for more than 7 days, Mr. Trump. And the worst is they're not talking. So here's who needs to be part of that board. We don't want no corrupt politician. We don't want no organized religious person on that board. We say you go to the most primitive group or a race of people on this planet. When I say primitive, it don't mean that they don't have common sense. Because all you need in this world, I think common sense wins the day. But they do have common sense. So for instance, we can go to the Amazon in Brazil, the people that live in the Amazon, get 1 or 2 representatives there from any of the tribe. And then we can go to Papua New Guinea in part of Australia, closer to Australia, and get 2 representatives. We don't need a lot of people in there. And these people should run that board. All they will have to say to Israel and Iran, no, 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 no. That's it. They don't have to speak. They don't have to write nothing down. They can just say, no, no, no. And that should be enough to deter them from fighting each other. And I think that board will be, and I think that should be the new board for all of global peace. Because if you put a politician there, he's corrupted. Those people, they don't want money anyway. They live their life earthly, just like how the Almighty had intended it. So they're not exposed. I won't say they're not exposed to worldly things, but they're not going to be corruptible. They're not going to be easily bought. So these are the people you want to run global affairs if it is, as far as peace is concerned. I don't know why they don't have too many of them in the United Nations anyway. Because that United Nations is a bunch of politicians anyway there. There's a whole government of itself. I'm not a fan of United Nations anyway, but yeah. But yeah, Mr. Trump, please stay out of people's situation. The American people has a lot to think about. And right now, war with Iran is not one of them. As I've always say, the greatest thing that could ever happen to anyone, my friends, not the day you were born, not the day you had your first child, they graduated from high school, college, they become a lawyer, doctor, whatever it is that you're working on. The greatest thing, my friend, or friends, that could ever happen to anyone is the day you discover yourself. Because from that day on, my friends, everything starts to make sense to you, including understanding all of the actors that are on the world stage. And all of them are playing their role, just like a machine. Like the machines in the wash, how they all work together simultaneously to make the clock, the wash work. That's how these people are working. They are actors. They are bringing their own a specialty to the movie, and we are sitting and we're watching. And you start to understand these things. And you advocate for peace. You advocate for love. You advocate for tranquility. You advocate for friendship. Again, I don't want to say friendship, but I'm becoming to understand that there's no such thing as a friend. It's your competitors and your enemies. That's what they are. So you start to understand these individuals. And my friend, if you do, you'll make great decisions. And these decisions are going to be based primarily on common sense. I hope that you are doing great. Hope that your family are doing okay. And most importantly, my friends, I hope that you are in good health. Thank you and have a blessed and a pleasant day. Bye.